What's up, men? Welcome to the MaleCartel podcast. Let's get started.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
Men are not meant to be dominant. Men are meant to be submissive.
Life's too short to exercise. I'm just going to be honest.
It's okay to be fat.
Dispelling toxic masculinity and really redefining what it means to be a man. Men can cry. So it's okay to be weak. It's okay to be weak.
I'm telling you right now, not everybody wants to see you win.
You seem to be more woman than you are man. You don't have any manly qualities.
You give them this message that it's okay to be a man.
It's not okay, it's necessary. How are we going to do without men? You look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up, these men, they're doing impossible things.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Be a dangerous man. Being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things. You can't be a good man if you're not a dangerous man. You say one disrespectful thing to my wife, I am not only willing, but I'm able to inflict great bodily damage.
I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. I can't explain it, but you better feel me. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture. What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Here's your host, Nick and Shane.
Hey, we back. MaleCartel, thanks for listening. Hey, I'm staring right at Nick Carnes, co-host here with me. Nick, what has happened in the last several weeks?
Man, I'm excited to be back. We said it every week's going to get harder and harder because we're going to want to, be on here talking, catching up, talking guys stuff. And so I'm just excited that to be here and to be able to be back with our cartel, hang out with them, and talk some guy stuff. I just got off a retreat in the mountains. Man, It was great. The weather was nice. I think highs of like 73, dipping down into the 50s. And then I come home and it's back in the 90s.
It was 100, literally. Wasn't it yesterday or the day before?
One of those days. Close. They said it was the hottest day of the year up until this weekend. This weekend is supposed to be like 103, 104.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's greater than 73.
Yeah, well, it was nice. I mean, some of the guys were having to wear jackets. In fact, one of the evenings I put a jacket on, which is weird in the summertime.
Yeah.
But it was a nice getaway. The retreat was nice, just to hang out with some guys and to be in the mountains. We took a hike up the mountains. I was hoping to see a bear. In fact, one of the guys was trying to feed the bears, taking all of our scraps and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a good time. We enjoyed it.
So you brought food to feed the bear, but saw no bear.
I don't say we.
It wasn't you.
It wasn't me. We ate food. Like we cooked some of the meals ourselves and stuff, and the scraps or the leftovers didn't end up in the refrigerator because, you're not going to take it home. So one of the guys we would, he's our leader. He's the kind of the pastor among pastors of Hope Church pastors, decided he wanted to see a bear. So he would toss the food over the balcony into the side of the house, hoping that it would attract a bear.
So the bear would show up. Okay.
So the bear would show up. But the only thing we got was some kind of hunting dog, and he would eat up all the scraps. That's all we got. He looked like a bear.
Hey, we'll take it, bro.
We'll take it.
You saw a mammal, at least. But if you were hiking, you were actually the food for the bears. So technically.
It was me, and when I went, it was me and 3 other guys.
Okay.
One guy's been going to the gym. Two of the guys have been going to the gym, really working out. And then one guy, fitness is kind of his lifestyle. So, among guys that were really focusing on their health, some more in the beginning stages, others of us have been at it for a little bit of time. But my philosophy, I know one of the guys has been running. I've been training for a 5K that's happening this Friday. one guy runs a lot. I mean, I think he said the other day he ran like a 10K. And then the guy behind me, I don't know how much he runs. I know he's been running, but you know the philosophy. All you got to do is outrun the other guys, or at least one of the other guys.
So you wouldn't have got eaten.
I don't think I would have gotten eaten. No.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
and so, Nick, way to represent the MaleCartel.
That's right.
Don't want to get eaten alive. So what would you think is like the most manliest animal? Like your top, I would say top 5, but we haven't really thought about it. Like your top 3.
I think we probably would agree on the top one.
All right, what's the top one?
Lion.
Got to be a lion. That's
King
right.
of the
All
jungle.
Right, so we're the same one.
Lion, and then I don't know. I wrestle after that because one. I was thinking about this. I'd say it's a toss up, probably between the grizzly bear and the polar. But they say polar bears are like bad animals. So I'd say probably a grizzly, polar bear. The third, I really thinking about this. I mean, it's not too much of a threat unless you're in its home. I'd say a great white shark. I mean, that's a bad. Although killer whale might be more deadly, but I mean the teeth. It's just a beast.
Oh yeah.
And then this one might surprise you. I would say an elephant, like a male
with a big tusk.
Oh man,
yeah,
those jokers are bad.
Yeah,
they'll even take out a lion just because they're so massive
100%.
and big. And now I've seen some lions take out some elephants, but you get those massive ones, they'll stampede them.
Oh man,
and I don't know. I think I got to go with a wolf. After that,
yeah,
I think, they're smaller, but they're vicious. And so I think probably my top 5 would be that. 5th being rounded out by the wolf.
And the wolf, he runs with his buddies. So like you can mess with one, you got to mess them all. The pack.
They're the cartel. They're just called a pack.
He runs with a cartel. Hey, did you know though that there's like proof that there's a grizzly bear actually hooks it up with a polar bear in real life? The bear looks like it's long and slender, and it's huge, and it's just ginormous, and but the polar bear can smell really really good, and so just imagine them together. So the grizzly's like, what's up? Because
like a hybrid.
When I think of a polar bear, I think of like the Coke commercials from back in the day, and it's like a girl, and then the grizzly's like, what's up, lady? And then they hook it up, And so
cuddly, more feminine looking.
Yeah, it's like little cuddly, and then they're drinking some Coke, and if
well,
it's
my
Diet
cousin
Coke, that'd be great for
lived in Alaska, and that's what they talked about. Like bear would just cross the road, and you got all these tourists there, and they think they're like yogi, like they're gonna just toss it up with you and hang out and hey, don't prevent forest fires.
Yeah.
But that's where people would get themselves in trouble because you're standing between them and their food because they go get the salmon from the rivers and stuff. But people think they can go pet them and they get in trouble.
That's a negative. Yeah. Don't do that. If you're listening to us, don't go pet a large mammal like that. Don't even pet like a deer with antlers, because I've seen that when nature attacks or something, or wild attacks something, it's when some animal attacks you and tries to kill you, And don't, just be careful. I'm just like you. All of those, the bear was like my number 2, grizzly. I do agree. The elephant. I had like the scrappiest dude in the yard. Like he's from South Augusta, where I'm from. Scrappy. That would be like a honey badger. Like they don't even play, dude. They're just like scrappy. You just don't mess with him. He's at the corner store. He got him something to drink, and he got him a bag of Funyuns, and he's right there hanging out with his buddies. Don't mess with that guy.
You know who that reminds me of?
Who?
I'm gonna give him a shout out. I don't even know if they listen, but I'm
that?
gonna put him out there. Maybe he'll join the cartel.
Who's that?
Dr. B. Because a honey badger aren't the badger? Who's the honey badgers? Maybe I'm wrong.
Honey badgers are in Africa.
But I mean, who's the? I thought there was like a sports team that was Badgers or something.
It's LSU. It
was LSU. Okay.
And then they had.
That's why I was thinking of Dr. B.
Yeah, they have that guy. Was it Tyrone Matthew or something? Whatever his name was.
And
the
honey badger.
He was called the honey badger. Yeah, he was a beast. He was a safety for the Saints for a while.
Yeah, Dr. Boudreaux, the honey badger, little scrappy.
Yeah. But I was really thinking about that the other day while working at the gym. Some guys come in like a rhino. Some people are looking like a wolf.
Rhino's a good one.
And so like a rhino, I was like, man, that dude's like he's training like a rhino. Like this dude ain't got an ounce of definition on him, but he's strong. They're like, oh wow, this dude can lift up a house type of thing. And then there's always that runner, you know what I mean? And didn't want to say like a gazelle, because that was like when I think of a gazelle, I think of like a girl, a female, but I would say give them the benefit of the doubt, and I would say like a cheetah. You know what I mean? Something that can run like that.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I do associate certain animals as being like girl animals, like a deer.
Yes.
Unless
Even though they
big
got antlers, they can be deadly, but I don't
Kinda
think deadly.
Yeah.
They can injure you.
Yeah, they can hurt you.
And if you see how girls fight,
Yeah.
they can injure you because they grab hair, they're slapping, they go crazy.
So like even like snakes, right? You got like a garter snake, and then you have a king cobra. Okay, rattlesnake, automatically a dude. That's some dude from Texas. That's what like he's a rattlesnake.
Speaking of snakes, real quick,
go.
I killed one the other day, and I
Did
felt
you?
bad for it because then it was a black snake, and I saw it at first. I wasn't sure what it was, so I called Tristan and told him to get a shotgun because I was just going to shoot it.
You just wanted to shoot something, if you're honest. You're like, I gotta blow something up.
Well, I mean, it's not every day you see a snake trotting across your backyard. Our
Okay.
dog was on it because he's a terrier, so he was doing what he does, and it went and it disappeared. So we had to find it, and then so Tristan just comes out, doesn't go get his gun, and he's trying to pin it down. Once we were able to get it out, it was a good sized black snake, but I was contemplating, and I didn't realize. I mean, I realized I knew I had picked up a small, like kind of tiny, almost like a camping shovel, because I had a stick, and I'm really not thinking. We're trying to pin its head down, and I'm deciding what to do. Do we remove it? Whatever. I know it keeps rodents away and stuff. Well, you react, and he got the tail end down, and so it's popping its head up, trying to be tough.
Yeah.
And I took the shovel and went to kind of pin its head down, and it penetrated and cut through the top part. So now you see he's in pain because you've cut halfway through him. And so I'm sitting here apologizing to the snake, and I'm sitting there going, "I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry," because I know it wasn't quick. It wasn't a quick death because we're over dirt. And so I've got the shovel, and now I'm trying to just, that tough steak, not snake, but steak, when you're trying to cut through. It was bad. I felt so bad.
So he was like a Golden Corral steak that was on the buffet, and you're like trying to saw through it with that
Dollar
bootleg knife.
Tree.
They don't even give you a real knife. It's like you got to saw it.
Have you seen the steaks they sell at Dollar Tree?
No, I don't want to know.
You can even look at it. It's like full of grit, and it's just bad. It is rubber. So yeah, I felt bad because I was like, one, it wasn't even a poisonous snake. It would keep other snakes away. It would keep rodents away. But
next time, call me. I remove snakes all the time for people, and so the ones that are non-venomous, they'll when they bite you, I'll let them bite me because all it is like a little scrape. It's nothing. It doesn't even hurt. So a little scrape because the way their teeth are, and so I do it with my kids all the time, and so I just don't like them spraying musk on me like pee. And it smells terrible. So
anyway, that was my snake story, but I know what you mean. The garter steak. Now, this one looked kind of manly, even though it wasn't poisonous. But those green little gardeners, those look very feminine and
gentle.
Yeah, gentle.
That's gentle. So gosh, for me, I turned 46, so I had a birthday. You know,
happy birthday.
So I'm in the 46 club, if that's a real club. And so my birthday, I got a BB gun. So, yeah, dude, I got a BB gun. My boys got me a BB gun.
Tristan, quick, call Shane. Get the BB gun.
Yeah, I'll pop a cap in somebody. And it's a Daisy Red Ryder.
BBs or pellets?
No, this is BBs, bro. This is like the .177. So,
Pump?
So it's a pump. Yeah, dude. So, like, I wanted a BB gun. I always go to get one, and I feel like lame about buying a BB gun because I hadn't had one since I was a kid. And so my boys, they're at that age, we don't have a gun in the house, about to get a gun.
They have a BB gun.
I got a BB gun now. I do have a 22, so I take that back. So, and I'm about to get a bigger gun than that. So, literally. And so, but I want a BB gun so I can take my boys and talk about gun safety, and then like let them like shoot it and just target practice and all this other things. We live in Evans, and so like in a cul-de-sac, so we really can't do that. So when we go on a family land, so I just like, hey man, when we go fishing, just let them shoot after we fish and just get it up. And then once they kind of learn that, then then we're off to the races. Then, man, it's like expediate. I know when I was about 7 years old, I had to be begun, and before my parents got divorced, and then it was one of them old school Red Riders type of thing,
Oh, yeah.
and then sit underneath the bed, and I always knew how to shoot, and my family didn't care. I mean, I was like 7 years old, walking around trailer park and woods and ditches and everything, and had a big giant survivor knife like Rambo.
Oh yeah.
And so you take off the little compass, and so yeah, man. So for me, it was a good birthday, and we kind of celebrated it on Thursday night. Went to Outback.
I saw that.
So just to piggyback on episode 1, got me a bloomin' onion, and it was amazing. Just gonna let you know. But we decided to do this little halvesy things, and got a we ended up getting this like a little bit of a steak and a little bit of chicken, and then my wife got a pasta deal with shrimp and chicken, and we just kind of split it. And then, but I, 3/4 of the bloomin' onion by myself, and so it was amazing. That's all I know.
Speaking of which, I want to give a shout out to Cody Palmer from Facebook. I haven't connected with him yet. We'll connect with him this weekend because we've got a conference coming up in Black Mountain, North Carolina, with Men of Valor. But he was trying to grow our audience. He was sharing our podcast and with a couple of friends, I guess, that are Aussies, and was asking them to check it out and to listen to it.
Yeah.
He even gave us a great review. And so shout out to him, because as soon as we grow our audience to Australia, we're celebrating at Outback. So I just want to give a shout out to Cody for trying to help make that possible. So I haven't checked the statistics to see maybe if they've listened yet. I know we have grown our countries, which, man, I'm blown away by just the response, the feedback that we've gotten, the views. I mean, we've almost doubled more, or maybe more than what we did in the first pilot episode.
Yep.
It's been amazing, man.
Yeah. I agree, man. It's been overwhelming. I know a lot of guys that I've talked to that listen. They're just like always super encouraging. And one guy in particular said that he listened to it. A friend of mine, he said he listened to it like 3 times in a row. And so he just kept them laughing. And so I was glad that we can bring some humor. And so I know that do you mind sharing that story about the impact that we're making at MaleCartel? The impact with Ryan. Do you want to share that story?
Yeah. So
this is huge impact. This is like life-changing impact. Go ahead.
Yeah, because we actually shared this post on our MaleCartel Facebook page. So if you're not following our Facebook page, you can go to Facebook, search MaleCartel. But Ryan, and he'll actually be on one of the episodes. Ryan owns Brushstrokes Painting here in Augusta, Georgia. And so Ryan was listening to our podcast, and at about that time, his son yells out, or he's talking to his mom. He said that he had to turn the volume down because he was actually listening to the podcast when his son was saying this, his son Tristan. And so his son said, I always clean my butt well, but today I cleaned it extra well, but it feels weird. And Ryan said he was just listening to the part where we were talking about, middle school hygiene. His son's in middle school, and was just dying. He's like, I'm putting that on Facebook.
Yep.
And so once we saw it, of course, we shared it because people wouldn't know fully what it was about. So we linked to the show and everything. But yeah, we're already having an impact.
Yeah, man. Cleaning booties one at a time, bro.
Yeah, people might be like, that middle school hygiene, let me skip that part. But see, if you've got a son, they may listen to it, and it may make an impact in their hygiene.
Yep. If you're a middle schooler, or even a high schooler, or say a 5th grader, I would say, take a shower with actual water and use soap. Okay, don't just use your hand. You need a rag, one of those little fuzzy plastic thingies that there's always in there from like your mom or your older sister. And ain't nothing wrong with it. You can use it. It's a little scrubby scrub, and so
gets the dirt off.
It gets the dirt off. Anything to get the dirt off. And but Nick and I, we don't wear it. We don't do that. We use a wire brush, and so that's how we scrub it down. So take care of yourself. Hygiene. Hey, do you have any? Can I read a review?
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is a awesome review that we got for the podcast, and it's from Liberty Pastor E. And this is like the 1st of August. And then the title was Calling Men to Be Men. And I love this. He says, thankful for the heart of this podcast to call men to be men. I can't wait for more content from the Male Cartel that will challenge the masculine heart of men to step up and lead.
That's awesome.
Dude, I love that.
That is Eric Stewart. He's also a pastor, but he's part of a ministry called Men of Valor.
Okay.
And so they're
that sounds cool.
Yeah, they got another podcast if y'all want to check that out. They had me on their Man Up Monday, which was together, a group of men all over the country. I mean, some of these guys are probably on the West Coast, so they're getting up at 2:30.
Yeah.
To meet together for about 30 minutes online. They do a devotion and a Bible study. I had the privilege of leading one of those for them a couple of weeks ago. I'll actually be at their conference this coming weekend.
Let's go.
One of the guys backed out. I'm always like the last minute guy that gets called. Hey, someone backed out. Can you do it? That happened at our youth camp. But I get the privilege of doing a breakout. I'm going to be speaking on the disciplined man. And so, yeah, Eric's a great guy, has a heart for men. So if any of these guys are looking for other men podcasts to be a part of, Men of Valor is a great one.
Hey, listen, part of being a man is always being ready. And
always
so,
being ready.
And you're ready.
That's right.
Let's go.
You got to live ready.
You got to live ready.
I've got one I want to give a shout out to. Been listening and giving great positive reviews on both the pilot episode and after. I'll tell you, he may come up in some of our other recognition down the road. I've seen a lot of growth in him, a lot of great stuff. Alan Martin, he gave us a 5-star review on iTunes. He says this, well put together, and I've listened to it more than once. I love that. Sounds like some of the feedback you've gotten. Yeah. Maybe we've got 5 listeners who have listened
over and over again
multiple times.
Hey, we'll
who knows?
Take it.
He says, can't wait for you guys to dive deep. And I'm not reading this because of this part, but he says, proud of you, Nick. We go way back because he is a part of the family. You've always been that guy. If I ever come to town, I'd love to join you guys, and I'd love to have him. I'm spreading the word in the military world, and some may say they're excited too. So
that's awesome.
I love that. Love the feedback. Love our Cartel family already.
Yep.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so awesome. So y'all keep hitting a review. Sharing it would be awesome. If you think it's great, worth sharing. If not, then I guess don't share.
Yeah, because I always, even on social media, I'll have people say, oh, I saw your post.
Yeah.
Or I read your post. I loved your post, but they don't react to it. They don't comment.
100%.
And so I know there are people who are listening because that happened even at the retreat. People were familiar with it this past weekend. And so it's like, man, let us know you're out there. Leave a review. I mean, I guess even if it's a 1-star review, leave the review so we know you're there. We want to grow and improve. Yeah. So if there's some feedback where we can do that, let us know.
100%.
Let us know you're listening, and we'd love the review because people do check those reviews as they
That's right.
Are looking for a show to listen to.
And I know that's true, Nick, because I know I've gotten better at it. When I see people post things that are interesting that they're sharing, and I go, oh, this looks interesting. Now, if I think it looks interesting, I go and check it out.
Yeah.
I'm forming a discipline to do that versus hit a like button because I think it looks cool and then never check it out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, I was really thinking this week. I was thinking like current events. A couple things have come up for me, and particularly we've launched back football, and so high school football is like roaring here in Augusta, and so I think college football starts this Saturday, right? Or is it next Saturday?
Soon.
Yeah. I watched NFL, and that started back up, and so
we're in preseason.
Yeah, we're in preseason. So go Bears, and you go Falcons.
Go Falcons.
I like Falcons too. So a falcon, that's a manly animal, and so is a bear.
Yep.
So talons, teeth. Hey, that's all we need.
Absolutely.
So we ended up just looking at a bunch of different current events and things, and I just noticed something, and really it took me by surprise. I kid you not, and I don't know why it didn't bother me. Like I didn't stay up all night long and worried about it or anything, right? But it's kind of astonishing as just the amount of backlash that a song by Jason Aldean, who's a country singer. Do you know who he is?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if it's Aldean, but if he's
I know
yeah,
it's
you know.
Yeah.
All right. So the song is "Try That in a Small Town," and I don't know why, but that really struck a chord with me. Because I grew up in a small town, But and I liked it. I actually like shared it on Twitter a long time ago, like 6 months ago.
Oh yeah, so it's been out for a while.
Been out for a while. So I guess it was in the springtime when I shared it before it became like popular. And all of a sudden, there's issues with it. And so and I've tried to look at it and from different angles, but that was astonishing that people would make it such a big deal about a song that I view is not threatening. And so, are you familiar with the song?
Yeah, in fact, I thought maybe you were talking about another song that's blown up over the last week. Rich Men North of Richmond.
Oh, see, I love that.
That man,
he's so authentic.
What a great message. Oh, and dude, super humble.
Yeah.
But I think the same thing with Aldean. I mean, he's not out there making a huge deal out of things. It blew up, and now he's kind of in the center focus of everything. But I mean, I think it resonates with a lot of people unless you've not grown up in a small town. Both of us have lived in small towns. So I think we understand the community and the culture of the small town. And people are trying to make it into a race thing, but it's not a race thing. In fact, in a small town, that's part of the deal is like everyone. It's like it doesn't matter what your race or nationality might be. If you're part of that small town, there is a relationship there.
That's right.
You're not going to let the owner of the mom and pop store get held up or whatever because you know them. Doesn't matter what race they are.
100%.
And so people try to make it racial because something happened in front of the Capitol building that he's standing in front of or whatever. Okay, it's a part of the town. It's signifying those are the center focus of small towns. Like the courthouse or whatever. It's like the nice building of the town. In fact, there's a lot of movies. My dad grew up in Covington, so I've spent a lot of time in Covington, Georgia. It's grown tremendously now, but they even filmed TV shows like In the Heat of the Night and some of those old movies or TV shows. Yeah. And then now there's a lot of shows, and Nikki will be watching something. Some of them are goofy as all get out, but I know that it's Covington because of the city square and the center of that city square, which is a courthouse.
Yeah.
So I think it's completely overblown, but it speaks to some truth and reality about what it's like to live in a small town and be a part of a small town.
Now, I'm gonna tell you, man, somebody rolls up on where I live in our cul-de-sac, like I'm gonna take care of all the widow, friends across the street who don't, has made different choices than I would have made, the single mom. The couple that has a little kid, a single dad with a teenage daughter, and then just a single lady that lives in my neighborhood. But somebody comes in and tries to hurt them or cause a fire or a scene or break in a car. Like I feel like I have to take care of business,
right?
And I'm capable. As we talked about last go around. But, in the small town setting, I think it's like during COVID, I remember my whole neighborhood, the whole cul-de-sac, we celebrated a friend of mine's birthday that was there, and she's a grandma, and she couldn't see her grandkids, and so because of COVID, and we actually put up a screen and did a movie night for our cul-de-sac, and nice. I loved like those simpler times like that. I think it was rough, like in society as a whole, but I mean, we were confined to our homes kind of, for a while, but we all just chipped in and, bringing eggs to each other and all. And I'm like, that's how it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that's, I think, what is signified about with that song.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't live in a small town. Grovetown used to be a small town
100%.
Where we live. It's blown up. We live kind of on the outskirts. There's not much where we live. It's not in the city area or where the business district is. But I remember a few years ago, it was actually before 2020. Time flies. I don't know. It was probably 2018, 2019. We have a house that's kind of across the street from our house, and it had been vacant for a while. And we were told that it was owned by a military family. So they're not here. I think they were stationed in Hawaii or something like that. And so they have no ability to protect their home. And there were some young men hanging around the house and acting suspicious. And so I noticed that, and I keep an eye on them. They're not leaving. So it's almost as if they're scoping the place out. We know no one lives there. So we called the sheriff's office, and when they get there, they park kind of down the road and walk to me because I'm kind of standing out near kind of perpendicular to the house.
Yeah.
And so this officer's talking to me, and he's like, I sure hope, because he was waiting on some backup, and he's like, I sure hope they don't take off running, because if they do, I'm got to go after them. And so I happened to have gone inside to arm myself. Not that I was going to provoke anything, but you don't know what those two or three individuals are up to, and so you just want to make sure you're protected.
This is post independence, right? But you have no more independence.
No more.
It has not
independence.
grown back yet.
Yeah, but this is pre being in shape.
Okay, so you weren't about to run either, right?
This was that in between time where you kind of letting things slip into,
right.
The guts growing, and you're not as in shape. You're not running as much. That type. Yeah, that's this time. And I'm thinking I don't want to run either.
So what'd you do?
So we stood there, and then next thing you know, they take off running. And he's like, he's like, here we go. So he didn't know I was going with him.
Okay.
He just thought he's going to have to chase after them himself.
He knew you was a grizzly bear. You know antelope. You're a grizzly bear. Let's go.
I'm running with him down our neighborhood. We got over a quarter of a mile.
Okay.
And these are young bucks. These guys are in shape.
They got them young backs.
Yes. So one of them, by then, one of the officers was coming up the street.
Okay.
So one of the guys runs to the front yard. They get him. And then another guy jumped the fence. There might have been two. I forget how many there were. So one of the officers jumps the fence with him.
Okay.
And then I follow all of them, and so I got a picture of them. I mean, I've still got it on my one of, like I said, it's been several years ago, but it was funny because one of the guys was joking because of the mentality of what our society paints, cops as and stuff like that. Talking about the small town and that really inaccurate picture that people are trying to paint of that song. And so the guy was actually kind of funny as he's getting arrested. He's like, "Don't shoot me," and all this different stuff. And the officer's like, I'm not going to shoot you. And the guy was cooperative. I mean, he wasn't resisting. He wasn't doing any of that, but he was actually kind of funny. And they ended up finding some marijuana on one of the guys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were young guys. I think one of them was 16.
Yeah.
But that's, I think, the point of the small town. You're looking out for one another.
100%.
You're not looking at those guys and going, oh, they look suspicious because of this or that.
Yep.
They're at a house that doesn't belong to them. It's dark. It's night. And that's my neighbor.
100%.
And so I'm gonna look after them. And so I really think that's what Jason Aldean's trying to really convey in that song is we look out for one another. We're going to protect one another. And, that's it.
Yeah. I 100% agree. I just thought it was just unique that how the media just spins things. I guess I shouldn't be alarmed. I think it was just weird because the song came out 6 months ago. You know what I mean? Right. And I was looking up the guy who wrote that song, Rich Man, North of Richmond or whatever song. And I saw that on Twitter, I guess a week ago or whatever. And I was just listening to it. And he's so authentic. I went back and started listening to a lot of his music from Spotify. And I was like, I really, really like this guy being very authentic. But you see, in one sense, it was went viral and he's just being authentic. And then the other was how the media went straight, And so I would expect the media to try to turn on old boy for Rich Man who wrote that song, Oliver. I always keep forgetting his name. But he has a pretty good beard.
He's
pretty good beard.
You get it.
So, yeah. So do you think, since we're small town, do you think that the small things or doing the little things, do you think that matters as a man?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think oftentimes we paralyze ourselves as men thinking that we've got to do it big. The saying, go big or go home.
Yeah, that's good.
And I operate by that sometimes, but I don't think it's always the healthy thing to do.
Yeah.
Go big or go home, or it's all or nothing.
Yeah.
And a lot of us can be that way. Like in my diet, it's going to be all or nothing. I'm either not going to do anything or I'm going to be full in. I'm going to be sold out to it. Why not all or something?
Yeah.
Because 1 + 1 still equals 2. 2 + 1 still equals 3. And it takes a lot of ones to get to 100, but you're at least taking small steps to get there. I think our mentality oftentimes is like, I got to do it in 20s, 5 20s to get to 100.
Yep.
I got to take big steps.
Man, that's a good word.
So I think absolutely the small things matter more than what we, give credit to.
Yeah, because I think that the small things, it like you said, it adds up, and it smaller sections actually builds almost kind of like steps. You know what I mean? And it's one step, one step, one step, one step. And then in life, that's usually how it works. There's like phases. You think about even like if you're working out, and you were at 0, and you decide, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and bench press 225 pounds. What's gonna happen? It's not gonna go well for you, But if you take some small steps, you'll get stronger, 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 and then improve and improve and improve. And I think that's it. One thing I like about the small things, though, in doing those small things or the little things well, is because you can't cheat those areas.
Right.
I think you could do something so good, so big, not good, but like so big that you can cheat it. It's like even if you're cooking a meal and like you didn't have a certain one little ingredient, you leave it out, people may not notice.
Right.
But if you have only 3 ingredients, something on a smaller meal, people would notice like, ooh, did you use butter in this? Or as I'm making like green beans, put a little bit of sugar in it. People always say, you put a little bit of sugar in it, didn't you? And I'm like, yeah, I did, right?
The little things, yeah.
It's the little things. And so you can't cheat that. It's impossible to cheat it. It's almost like fundamentals.
And I've thought about this before. There may be short steps. Short steps are better than no steps. There may be short steps that you have to take to get to a destination, a goal, whatever, doing the little things. But there are no shortcuts.
Oh, yeah.
And oftentimes we want the easy button. We want to take the shortcut.
Yep.
And then if you take a shortcut baking a cake and you leave out an ingredient, it's going to be noticeable.
Yeah.
And so I think what we even see as guys in ourselves is taking the shortcuts, not doing the little things.
Yep.
And then we can tell.
Yep.
We can see that on the back end of things. And so I think it matters. And I'll tell on myself real quick. So it's been probably, I don't even want to say, because thankfully my wife has listened to our episodes. She would correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
I'll just say time has gotten away.
Okay.
And I've got some clothes that I've intended to put away. And I actually did it this morning because as I was thinking about some things, I was like, I want to see how long it takes me. Because I actually blogged about this, not too long ago as far as, it was several years ago, but talking about doing something small, and it took like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But yet we put it aside and we put it away. And so anyway, so some clothes, and I kept moving it from one place to the other. And it's like, okay, I need to put those clothes up. I need to put them away. And I even said it a couple of times. I had good intentions, but I kept moving it from here to there, here to there. So this morning I was like, I'm going to put these clothes away. And I want to know, just for my own sake, because it was bothering me. You know, I'm not verbalizing it, but it bothers me.
Yeah.
Because I know I want to, but I'm just not doing what I know I need to do. It's a small step. And of course, some of those things have compiled over time because you're not putting it away, and it just builds. So, and the frustration builds. And so I was like, I'm going to time just for my own sake to really kick my own butt to go, look, it took you this long. And it took like 10 minutes. Because I had to find some hangers and stuff like that, but it's gone.
Yeah.
And yet, for so many weeks or whatever, I'm moving it from here to there. I need to put this away. I need to put this away. And it's in my way over here, so I need to use the ironing board, so I'm going to move it over here.
Yeah.
And now I need to use this, so I'm going to move it back over here. And all it would have taken was 10 minutes, and probably several weeks ago, 5 minutes. But because I'm not doing the little thing, it grows into a bigger problem.
Yep.
And so I think it's important, and I think we all fall short in it, but we need to be aware of it, and we need to be open to going, hey, get your act together.
Yeah, but from a sports analogy, I just think of like, and I think one of the reasons why guys like sports too is that you're on a field or a court or whatever, and if you cheat the small things, you'll be exposed when the lights come on, and so you just can't cheat the grind. You can't cheat success. And the small things adds up. And then when you're younger, you do the small things, and it builds up better habits, and You learn not to cheat, and then next thing you know, you become older, you get better at that. But as a human, we're just like a work in progress. You know what I mean? So I think that's a really good accountability to. I know even for myself is to make sure that that like what you just said. We even talked about the clothes. I was like, oh man, putting up my clothes, doing a better job. Sometimes I just put it on top of the dresser, and I was like, oh, I'll just do that tomorrow, And then next thing I know, I've got like you said, 5 minutes to kind of put stuff away. I do that oftentimes with things in my truck, especially in the very back where nobody sees it, and I never see it a whole lot, And so the back bed will have a cover to it, and sometimes things get pushed back there, and I'm like, I really need to go through everything.
Yep.
And so
it's funny. I'll clean my truck out mostly because it's like my mobile office.
Yeah.
When people are riding with me.
That's right.
So it's like that serves as motivation, but still I think it's better. And we talk about this working out all the time. You're not always motivated.
Yeah.
But it's those disciplines that you have to develop in your life. And speaking of sports, one of the mantras I've really taken on, and I've heard other people talk about this, Tyson, but the first person I really heard talk about it, and I've got a clip I want to share of his.
Yeah.
Is, and I think you said his birthday's today.
Oh, you talking about
the Black Mamba.
The Black Mamba, yes.
Kobe Bryant.
Yes, let's go.
Who I will say this, and I will go out and I'll say this. I actually heard a debate on this the other day. I actually put him above King Flop LeBron.
Oh, LeBron James
on the list of greatest of all time.
Yep.
Jordan's at the top.
Uh-huh.
But before I even will entertain LeBron, and if you don't agree, come at me. Kobe is better than LeBron.
100%.
He had a killer instinct. He has more championships. He was just a
better
leader.
Dude. And he played defense.
He played defense, and he didn't flop. He was a hardcore player.
That's right.
And so I just want to play what we've got a few clips today, but this is one that I had of Kobe talking about the small things.
At the end of every day, you look yourself in the mirror and you ask yourself, did I get better today? If the answer is yes, and you do that for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, how much better are you going to be? Are you getting better every single day? That's the question. And it's just taking small steps. You don't try to get it all done in one day, in 1 week, in 1 year. It's the process of getting better every day and doing that for a period of years that then create the masterpiece.
He doesn't say it there, but one of his mantras that I was referring to is just 1% better.
Yep.
Today, just 1% better.
Yep.
Not 10%, not 100%, but if you think each day, just I'm going to get 1% better, or I'm this one area I'm struggling in that I'm falling short in. I'm going to do it better 1% today.
That's right.
I could have said, I'm going to put this whole pile away, but what if I put a third of it away? That's a little bit better.
Yep.
Than doing nothing over a matter of weeks. And so I love that philosophy. I love that mentality.
Man. Dude, yeah, I couldn't agree with you anymore. I tell people all the time in counseling, and especially like men, talking about like loving their wives or just some daily disciplines. Just like, hey, sometimes it could feel daunting to have to change everything. It's almost like trying to put up a house in a day, and so it would look crazy if you had a bulldoze your house, demo it, and then put up a house in the same day. Super overwhelming. So a lot of guys get paralyzed. They don't want to do it. And it's like, no, just like you said, just find something to really appreciate your bride, your wife, be your children, whatever it is, your job, whatever, and then just try to get better at that. And then do it again and do it again. And consistency breeds consistency. And sooner or later, there is a breakthrough in that. There is a moment, something happens, and you actually realize how far you've come.
Right.
Able to look back and go, oh, I was there. I'm here now. And but you got to start. And so I don't know if men hear this, but I think that should be a good challenge. You got another video?
Yeah, because actually this one reminded me of something you were talking about with your own son and the conversation you were having with him. So let me play this clip.
So if you want to change the world, start off by making your bed. If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another. And by the end of the day, that one task completed will have turned into many tasks completed. Making your bed will also reinforce the fact that the little things in life matter. If you can't do the little things right, you'll never be able to do the big things right. And if by chance you have a miserable day, you will come home to a bed that is made, that you made. And a made bed gives you encouragement that tomorrow will be better.
You know, I love that. I don't know who that guy is. He looks like an admirable. He's a very admirable.
He does look admirable.
He looks like a,
like Navy.
What's that word?
Admiral.
Yeah.
Admiral.
So,
Admiral in the Navy.
But I love that clip. Some people are like, I'm not going to make my bed. I don't care because I'm going to come home and climb into it. I think the principle of what he's saying is to go do something that is small that you can accomplish easily, that when you come back home or as you start your day, you've started with something.
Yeah.
And then if you come back home, there's a sense of accomplishment because you've done that. It could be going to the gym. You're going to feel better during the day, or it could be eating well and eating better nutrition. So I think that's the principle. And I know you were talking to your own son about that, and I think that was very important, especially for young men and us as men as a whole.
Yeah, I love about that clip when he said something you made, something you did, and there is pride in that. Yeah, my Andrew, who's 9 years old, we had a conversation in his room just about cleaning up his room, and it looks daunting because there's like a lot of different like toys and different things he's interested in, and so through a conversation with him, I was like, hey, well, buddy, and it wasn't like a lecture; it was just me just being real with him. I was like, and he was cleaning his room up, and I was talking to him why he cleaned his room up. And then I said, if you did a little bit of this and a little bit of this and a little bit of this, it's all these little small things. And if you took care of those when you're supposed to, now you would have this 30 minutes just to hang out. But because you didn't do this, then and we'd had this conversation about, so what are the small things, the little things? This is like a week or so ago. And just talking about how taking care of the small things. And then I was just explained to him, I was like, as a dad, and one day you'll be a dad, son, Lord willing. He's handsome, so and he has a great personality, so he'll have ladies everywhere. But just saying, hey, as a dad, for us, we often do the small things that means a lot, and to the family, and a lot of times it goes unnoticed, but I notice, and it does give a sense of pride when you're able to take care of your family or do these other things, and your family, even if they don't see it. I think a lot of times as a man, we need to do the small things for our family that goes unnoticed, because we notice, and as the leaders of our home, it's important that we do those small things. And you can't cheat the grind, or you can't cheat success or greatness. It is what it is, and so doing those small things matter. But yeah, so a 9-year-old, so hopefully he'll learn, and I feel like he has learned already in a week to make sure, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do that now because I really want to do this other thing. And it's like, okay, and without telling him,
right.
And so yeah.
Well, and I think also one of the, we've talked about it all the time, even when we're just together. One of the pet peeves, and there's two aspects of this. Rush Limbaugh talked about one. He said you can tell the character of a person with one thing, one aspect of this. But the one, and I want to highlight an Instagram account. I don't know if they're on Facebook or other places, but one of the things we've talked about before are the people who won't put up their, I call them I grew up calling them buggies. Some people call them shopping carts.
Oh yeah.
They got the little corral, and they're all throughout the parking lot.
Do a dookie neck if you don't do it.
Yeah, you said that last week about the shopping cart. If you don't put it up,
you're a dookie neck.
But there is it's called I forget the name of it. The cart knocks.
Yeah,
narcs. And they'll confront people in parking lots.
Oh, yeah.
They'll give them bumpers or magnets for their car, and they'll say, "Hey, sir, are you going to put that, back?" And I'm handicapped. Well, I mean, you walked out with it.
That's right.
But to me, that is such a sign.
Yep.
If you cannot take your buggy or your shopping cart to the corral, which is a few feet away, you're so lazy that you can't do that. That shows to me a lot of flaws in character.
Dude, just the other day at the Walmarts, I was walking out. There's a dad with 3 boys. They're probably the same age as my boys, and then one that's about the age as my daughter, like 12, like a middle school kid. And they left right in the middle. When you go outside of the Walmart and then have that little lobby area, and there's buggies to like one side, and then it's kind of divided for those who like enter and exit
Right.
type of thing. And so he verbally said, kid you not, dude. It was like right in front of me. I was like, I'm not going to say anything because he's a dad with his kids. I've never, but I have confronted people. I've actually said, hey, you going to do something with the buggy or whatever? And it's been like funny, you know, trying to make it like humorous. And cause I'm a bigger guy. And, but he looked at his son's like, was going to go put it up, put the buggies up, had 2 buggies, went to put it to the left, literally about 10 feet from them. And the dad's response to him, kid you, it's crazy that you brought this up, looked at the boys and says, no, leave it here. Someone will get it.
In the middle.
In the exit, dude. In the exit. Not near the carts, you know, like if you have a good buggy, I mean, sometimes you can have a really good day, you got a good buggy, and so it's not going to be rattling.
Especially at Walmart.
Especially at Walmart, yeah. And so you can put those to the side, like, so somebody knows that it just was used and it's pretty good. But he said, he turned around and said, no, leave it here. Someone will get it. And walked out with his 3 boys. Immediately, I was like, he's training up a bunch of dookie necks. That's what he did.
Yeah.
Like 3 dookie
They're
necks.
learning.
There's going to be 4 dookie necks.
The problem
dad
is,
and 3 boys.
And the problem is one of
day.
those sons wanted to put it back.
Yes.
Because
And he's going to do the right thing.
Right.
You know, and he looked confused. Like he looked over at the buggies and he looked at his dad and then he just did what his dad did.
Because I've even done that with
said,
my own
wow.
family. If like we're not getting something, they've gotten some off the shelf. It's like, I need to go put this back. Don't just put it on a shelf anywhere in the store. That's not where you got it.
Yep.
Someone else has to do that.
Yep.
And I think that's the other mentality. It's someone else's job.
Oh, diffusion of responsibility.
We could have a total longer conversation on
Yep.
that. We won't. Maybe we'll address it another day, especially in leadership, on teams. Well, I get paid to do this. That's not my job.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that's important. It's the small things.
Small things,
The other thing Rush Limbaugh talked about was when you're getting a buggy and they're stuck.
Oh,
How
yeah.
many people over the years he has watched, well, this is stuck, so let me go to one that's easier. And once again, they want the shortcut, and they don't want to take the time or put forth the effort, the little bit of elbow grease to dislodge that cart.
That's right.
And sometimes maybe the seatbelt's stuck or whatever, but that means you actually have to take one extra step in order to loosen it, but you go to the easier one.
Yep.
And I think I agree with him that is, God rest his soul, that, that is an indication of someone unwilling to do the small things, the little things, but over time those add up.
Dude, all you got to do, takes you at least 5 seconds. You move the little clicker that goes in for like babies, and that's stuck in between 2, and you just turn it sideways, it will fall, and then you're able to pull the buggy out. It's that easy. Done.
Obviously, you're not going to the gym because you can't dislodge it.
Yeah, 100%.
Let that be your workout for the day.
Boom. Easy money.
I am going to be determined to separate these buggies from each other.
100%.
But see, that is, it's just like, and I hear it all the time. Well, I can't, and I've even posted about this. I can't do 10,000 steps a day. Okay. We so focus on the I can't. I can't do the big. I can't do the massive. I can't get up early. I can't, whatever. And your life becomes all about what I can't do, what you can't do. Why not focus on what you can do?
Yeah.
Can you walk 100 steps? Can you walk 1,000 steps? You can do something, and that's, I think, what we need to start changing our mindset. I can get this buggy apart.
100%.
I can put this buggy up and do the right thing, And I think with that, we change our mentality. But if we can't do that, it's really just an indication that our excuses are really excuses for laziness.
Oh, yeah.
The reasons that we give, it's just, why don't you just say, I'm lazy and I don't want to pull this buggy apart.
I'd respect you if you just looked at me in the eye and said, hey, I'm just a lazy person.
Right.
I'd go, at least I respect you being honest. So,
You know why I hadn't put those clothes away? Because there's days I get home and it's like, I don't want to deal with it. I would rather move it out of the way. It's at the root. Laziness. And we can all get lazy, we can all get tired, but it's to take that extra few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do the right thing, then it actually, for your mental health and your frustration of your spouse,
that is true.
For us, MaleCartel, our wives, they made that clear. But I just think it's important that we start focusing on what we can do.
Yep.
And I can take one step. I can do the small thing. And over time, it's going to add up.
100%. You have another video?
Yep, got one more.
We have enough time?
I love this one.
Your life isn't margaritas on a beach and in Jamaica. That happens now and then. Those are exceptions. Your life is how your wife greets you at the door when you come home every day. Because that's like 10 minutes a day. Your life is how you treat each other over the breakfast table. Because that's an hour and a half or an hour every single day. You get those mundane things right, those things you do every day. You concentrate on them and you make them pristine. It's like you got 80% of your life put together. These little things that are right in front of us, they're not little. That's the first thing. They are not little, and they're hard to set right. And if you set them right, it has a rippling effect, and fast too, way faster than people think.
So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, when I think of that, I always think of when he talks about the little stuff, and for me, we all define what's little and what's small, but little as being in like it doesn't consume a lot of time, right? But what's the thing, like I just think immediately about my children. Like I love when I come home, or even at the church that I serve in, when my kids see me and they haven't seen me all day long. My daughter, who's 12, 5'9", she still runs to me and jumps in my arms,
awesome.
Even though she's 5'9". And she's done it since she was little, and my boys follow suit, and I still kiss them on the neck. It takes literally seconds to do that. But it's not a big thing throughout the day, but it means the absolute world to me. And in that moment, I feel really, this sounds weird, I feel pretty complete when it happens, Even when there's like, I'm having kind of a rough day, they don't even know it. And they do that, I always go, they love me. You know what I mean? They're showing dad some love. It doesn't take much. And I think that when just the collection of that, and you get all those things right in your life, whatever that looks like, you have a pretty good life. You know what I mean? And
sure.
And so I think that's a good perspective to have. What do you think?
Well, I love what you're talking about, that most of life is made up of the 80% small things, because we, like I said, we'll look at, we got to make chunks of 20 steps, 50 steps to get to the 100, to get to the goal. And yet oftentimes it's 1 + 1. It's one step at a time. It's those small things that we do throughout the day that make the difference and that matter. We focus on, we want the 20%.
Yeah.
We want the vacation. We want the time away, and we live our life for that. And yet we don't focus on the small things, waiting for the big things, waiting for those experiences. Yet the true, really stuff that makes up our life is what we do day to day. And if our mind is on everything outside of those small things, like I can't wait till the weekend so I can go out fishing, or I can go do this, then we'll overlook those small 100%. Things that matter.
Yep.
He talks about how our wife greets us when we get home. Well, how about how we greet our wife, how we greet our family, what we are called to do, because we're looking past them and we're looking past that moment to something bigger. We're looking to the 20%, ignoring the 80%. And then we wonder why our homes are falling apart, why our families are crumbling, why our children want nothing to do with us, because we're overlooking them, the 20% at a time, or not the 20% at a time, but the small things at a time that equal the 80%. Because we're so focused on the 20%. We're wanting to get with the guys and go hunting or whatever.
Bro, just when you were saying that, the first two things popped in my brain, like immediately. I was thinking like men, like husbands. And like, I think it's cool that you take your wife to the Bahamas or to this big vacation away from your kids and all that stuff. That's cool, right? People enjoy that, and I think that's fine. But what about just reaching over when you're in the car or some random moment and just grab your wife's hand and hold her hand, and there's nothing involved. Like, you're not trying to get something from the situation. You're just to let her know that you're there. You know what I mean? Or, I think about like my boys, they love Legos, and they love playing with G.I. Joes from a throwback. We've got a bunch of throwback G.I. Joes. And when they come up with a new creation, just making some time to let them tell me all about it. So they're the expert. And they let me into their world, and I go, man, that looks super cool. They love that. They think, oh, my dad said it was super cool.
Showing interest in what they're interested in.
And it takes a little bit of time, but it means the absolute world. And somebody who has worked with young people for over 2 decades now, I know that those little things mount up, and as it they get older, and as like your relationship with your wife gets older, you get in years, and that it really means a lot.
Yeah.
And you look back on your history with people, and that's how you have equity with people. You look back on the history and go, well, they were all for me. How could they be against me? Type of thing. And so, but if you're not there, then definitely when it comes to like some life moment, they may go, well, Dad or my husband is not there.
Yeah.
They're there, but they're not there. You know what I mean?
And that's what I love.
Yeah, man.
Andy Stanley several years ago made this statement, and we'll kind of close out after this, but because I want to share our announcement. But he said, "Direction, not intention, determines destination."
Oh yeah.
And I like that because you've got to be heading in a certain direction. I like, and I kind of modified it for myself, decisions, not intentions, equal our destination. And so, you've heard the stories of an airplane's off so many degrees, it'll end up 500 miles off course, just like 1 degree. And I think as we're talking about these small things, doing the little things, those are the decisions that determine our direction, not our intention. We can be well-intentioned. A lot of people are well-intentioned. I've seen some people go in an evening, I really need to lose weight. I really need to focus on my health. And the next day for breakfast, eat almost 1,000 calories and stuff they shouldn't be eating the very next day.
Yeah.
The night before, their intentions were good.
Yep.
But the decisions that they are making are going to take them off course.
Yep.
And so I think that's important that we focus as men on the small decisions that we often overlook, that when we go, what do I want my life to look like? What do I want my family to look like? What do I want the end result to be? Back it up from there and go, what decisions do I need to make every day to get to that destination?
Yep. Good
intentions are great, but turn those intentions into decisions that we make on a daily basis. I think
small deposits, bro.
Small deposits.
That's right.
Will equal bigger
bank.
Well,
that's been good, dude. Go.
Yeah. Good discussion today. Not always going to be all humor and jokes and stuff, although we hope people are entertained.
Yep.
But I think sometimes we need to have these, conversations.
Yeah, I agree.
So next week, we're excited to be able to interview Coach Jay Mills.
That's
Coach
right.
Jay was the head coach of Charleston Southern football for a number of years, but he has also coached at places, I believe it was Stanford, don't get me wrong on that, in an assistant role. He also was an assistant coach under Lou Holtz at Notre Dame. So just probably the lessons he learned from that is phenomenal. He's an author. He's already written a book. He may be in the works of another book. He releases often coaching moments and things like that. He's an executive pastor now, so he's actually in ministry. But I'm excited to have him on the MaleCartel, and we're going to get to interview him next week, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, tune in to listen to Coach Mills.
Yes,
I'm
be sure.
excited. I'm so excited as a coach. I'm so excited.
Yes, I know you do coaching.
Yeah.
There's going to be some good conversation and what we can learn from a coach at a pretty high level.
I hope he doesn't make us do like up downs or anything.
Sure hope not.
Yeah,
sure hope we don't have to do
push-ups.
suicides.
You guys, this is what you did. Like, just start getting on to us. And so be like, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir, yes, sir.
Yeah, that's right.
Not military, but
coach.
good enough.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, guys, as we close out, I just want to encourage you, as Kobe Bryant has inspired me, just get 1% better this week.
Yep. 1% better. Make those small deposits.
Absolutely.
Small deposits.
Well, have a great week, and we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks
on
with Coach Mills.
That's right. With Coach Mills. Male Podcast. We out. See you guys.
See ya.
Thank you for joining the MaleCartel podcast. Be sure to subscribe and share to help other men join the cartel. You can also keep up with us on social media and at MaleCartel.com.